let's take a look at activity 2. Here our goal is to calculate the demand. That's how much water could be used at any one time. What could be demanded of our system. And then a big part of our design is going to be, where does it all go and how much is going at any one time and through any one piece of pipe. So we're going to do something called the segment flow drawing. And it's actually just going to be part of the same drawing that we've been working on. So we're going to calculate some demand, and then we're going to create a segment flow drawing to help us understand how the water is operating in the building. So to make our table, first I've prepared a template. You don't have to use this one. You can use a different one. It looks like this, and it's just like which fixtures are there. And then there's something called the standard fixture unit, and I sort of talked about this before, is how much water comes out of that thing when the tap is fully open and you've got full pressure. That's called a fixture unit. And and there's reasons for doing that rather than just calling it GPM, but that's into more elaborate design that we're not going to do. And so standard fixture units, you would just list for a lavatory, how a water closet, how much is it? For a lavatory, how much is it? And this lavatory point of use hot water, we're not going to include that in ours right now. We're just doing cold water. But if we were doing a hot water, if you use point of use, you add it into the cold water. But we're going to skip that for now. It's just one more piece of equipment, and it's not necessary for us to have it to get the idea of what we're doing. So you can, if you want to, you can eliminate that one, either delete or move everything up. So you need to know the standard fixture units, how much water comes out of a sink, of the pieces of equipment, of the parts washer, of all of these things, and then how many of them are there in the building. So this helps you understand how much water you have to supply to the building. So I've given you also a little bit of a hint. I've given you some typical fixture units that you can use. And if you open that up, here it is. A bathtub with a 3/4 inch fill valve is 10 fixture units. So about 10 gallons per minute for each of those faucets that I was showing you, those floor mounted faucets. About 10 fixture units. A drinking fountain is 0.5. A hose bib, that is a hose reel. Those hose reels should be able to deliver 2.5 fixture units. Lavatories, urinals. So there's some information to help you fill this out. Now, what's not on there is some of the equipment and the parts washer and things like that. And so I'm going to just let you estimate that as 2, 1 or 2. You can just type in 1 or 2. Normally, of course, you would get into the details of it. You'd go look it up, and you'd get the cut sheets. And architects do that. They go, what one do you actually want? And they'll go look it up, and they'll figure all that out. So I'm going to pretend that these are all 1. You have to actually go get the right ones from here. And then how many of them are there? I think there were 2 lavatories, 2 water closets. Maybe there were 6 hose bibs, 2 pieces of equipment. Well, I saw like a fume hood and something else and something else and something else. So I'll put maybe 3 of those and the parts washer. So then, of course, the total equals. See how it starts doing this for you already? Isn't that cool? Google Spreadsheets actually. So I'm going to use at the most like 16 gallons a minute. Okay, now I don't have, also I don't have everything in here. I don't have um, my drinking fountain and the like. So you have to do some work on this. If you come up with my numbers, you're wrong because these are just numbers I put in there to demonstrate. They're not real numbers. They're just demonstrations of how you would do it. You'll need to do the details of looking them up and making sure that this does include all of the pieces of equipment that you need and want. Okay? So there we go. So like the faucet needs to be on here. The faucets with 10 need to be on here. Right? So that's just an example of how to do it. And then once I've got that, I've got that done, and I'm gonna then place branch lines that kind of go to everything. So let's take a look and see what that might look like. The trunk is the main. It's like a tree, right? The trunk is the big thing, and then there's big branches. And so this right here would be a branch line. And then I could hook these into that branch line. And if I want to, I can even add a separate branch down to that. Okay, but the branch should be 2-inch. Make sure I've got it listed as 2-inch. So I just want to make sure, and it doesn't have to be in a specific place or anything. It has to be where I can kind of figure out where things go. This is more schematic than it is actual for right now at this level of the design. So you can see from my trunk line, I've got a branch that's leading out over to feed the bathrooms and feed my drinking fountain. And then off of that branch, there's another branch that gets into the bathroom to feed the toilet and the sink, the water closet, and the lavatory. So you just need to have a branch function so that everything has a piece of pipe near it. Everything has a piece of pipe near it. Now this might need to carry around and over. Maybe after you see it, you want to come over and run that way. So this water softener, a piece of equipment, right? And this is like a parts washer and some other things like that. So that can be done. And then this one, I decided to run it around this way. I could have easily put it over and across straight over there, but I just I made a long one along the back and then put that one in and that one in. There's no real right way at this point. This is your conceptual design to see how close it can go. Now, that takes us through the first two parts of activity 2. Okay, and there's this thought process, and you can try it. And this is a worksheet. This is not a final drawing. This is just a worksheet that you've got. So you've made a table, and you've laid out these pipe placeholders. Pipe placeholders. Okay, in the next video, I'll show you how to mark the GPM, aka fixture units.